Well, what have you found going door to door? I mean, how has that experience been?
Oh my gosh, I miss it right now in COVID because we can't
Hmm.
do much of that because of just safety. But I learned so much. When I started, I knew a lot about Watts and not as much as the leaders that were there for decades. But just in my work as a teacher and looking at the environmental justice issues and educational justice issues, I fell in love with my community. But really, I use this word love a lot wrong because I think we need a politics of love. So I know it sounds weird, but I just feel like that's what I feel. I need to say it. I literally, it made me fall in love with the district because in a sense of like, and I say this, Ron, because when if you have someone we love in our life, right, we would do anything for them, right? And I think that's what I got in my heart. So it's love. It's really love. Because when I went door to door and people shared their stories and were so vulnerable, I heard a woman who had drilling happen next to her home and said she came out, showed me a letter, said, look, I'm trying to fight against it. I hope something happens. I went to another home where there was a baby. The door was cracked open and there was again drilling happening next to them, and the dad was saying, yeah, we've been fighting against this for years, nothing's happening, and me thinking how this child is going to grow up. I mean, it just changes your complete perspective when you meet people at their homes and they tell you their everyday experiences and you realize that they've lived with it for so long and it's become kind of, unfortunately, it's not that they accept it, but it's just been their reality. And that breaks my heart because I'm often like, no, this is not your reality. Like, we can fight this, and they find hope when I say that, but they've been told for so long, this is your reality. We can't do anything with these refineries. I mean, they were here first. This is what they've been told. And it's so sad. It's like you're literally telling people, I'm sorry, your kids are going to get sick. That's what you're saying to them. They're going to get high rates of cancer and asthma, and there's nothing we can do about it. Are you kidding me? There is something you can do about it. There are zoning laws. There are ways we can hold the refineries accountable. There are things we can ban legislatively. We can ban neighborhood drilling. We can create a buffer zone. So that is bullshit. I'm sorry. It is bullshit because no, you just want to keep getting your money and you're okay with your community getting sick. And this is just my opponent. This is some of the city council people representing the district too, by the way. It's not just my opponent. And that is just inhumane. That's all it is. I can't say better. It's inhumane. It's deceptive. It's inhumane. And I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't, because I would not be able to. I'd be struck with so much guilt if that's what I told someone. Like, there's nothing I can do when I do have power to do it. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I did that.
And it is so exhausting.
Yeah.
Just so painfully exhausting. Watching Gavin Newsom pose with an electric car charger, saying, "Oh, we're gonna ban it all by 2035." Which, of course, that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's bad. Of course, that's good.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, he approved how many well permits during the same time?
I want to say it's almost 40 or 50 or
it's
more.
Like 40.
I mean,
yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it is just getting so exhausting where it's like, well, what are you really doing to help these communities? We're told that California is some progressive utopia. Meanwhile, in Southern California, in Los Angeles, there's still drilling going on in the county. Drilling for what? And it's been exposed years ago that this stuff is complete nonsense. Whenever someone tells you, oh, well, it's for our energy needs here domestically. No, it's not. That's a lie. That's a lie. Pretty much all of that stuff, which, I mean, it's like somebody, I forget, Stephen Merchant. No, I forget the guy's name, but he was running for office in Florida. He made the best analogy to fracking that I ever heard. He's like, it's like blowing up a human being to try to get them to fart. That's what fracking really is, because it does, like, what it produces is just next to nothing. Half of it, well, pretty much all of it goes overseas. So all fracking does, it gives a couple crappy temporary jobs that are environmentally hazardous and wrecks a community. And it pads the pockets of a couple CEOs. That's all it does. That's all it does. And even if it was actually, meeting our needs domestically, which it's not anyway, but even if it was, well, it's time to say, hey, at what cost is it meeting our needs domestically?
Ron,
trying to get off of full
right.
fuels.
To me, anytime something you're doing is making someone sick, don't do it.
Exactly.
What a concept. Exactly. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not the right decision.
Right.
When we have alternatives to getting our energy, we have alternatives. Yes. So why do it? And yeah.
I mean, exactly. It's just like, even if this was doing what they lie and tell us it is, it's still not worth it. It's making people sick. It's messing with water. You know what you don't mess with? Water. It's one of those things. You don't mess with it, especially in a place that never gets rain.
Water's life. I mean, it is life. And Ron, I want to just point out that in California, in the state legislature, we have a supermajority in both houses. We have supposedly a Democratic governor, right? Right. And I say supposedly, you know, no disrespect, Governor Newsom, but like, you know, we need, if being a Democrat to me means being for the people. And that's not always happening. You know, I mean, the legislature's case, in his case, in how he's, the decisions he's making. I mean, we had this buffer zone bill. So Ron, okay, not even ending neighborhood drilling. We had the chance to say, you know what? Okay, fine. You can keep drilling. Just don't do it near a home. That's literally what it said. Okay. It was Democrats that blocked that bill. It was Democrats that dehumanized, you know, and frontline environmental activists that came and spoke and said their experience and said, do your homework to them, which is so disrespectful and demeaning. It was Democrats that blocked this bill. And I just want folks to know that, like, that in our state, at least in our local politics, I'm going to bring this up, you know, just kind of focusing on local politics. The issue in California isn't that Republicans, I'll be honest, because we have a majority of Democrats here, Democrats who are in office. The issue is that the Democrats are the issue. Is that they are bought out and they are at face value saying they're progressive, and in closed doors, taking the money of developers, taking the money of oil refineries and doing their bidding. And maybe, like, you know, doing one photo op, like you mentioned, or doing something, but it's not near enough to meet the urgency. It's not near aggressive enough to meet the urgency. But, you know, and I think that's part of the reason I'm running. A lot of other progressive politicians across LA and the state are running, because we're just frustrated at this false, you know, narrative that we're progressive. And, you know, so yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. And oh, last thing, Texas, a red state, even has that rule where you can't drill next. They have a buffer zone. Texas.
Well, I mean, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and you know, I grew up in Western Pennsylvania near the Marcellus Shale,
right?
Which was when I first started learning about fracking. I was in grad school and I did a media ecology study on fracking in Western Pennsylvania and how it was being portrayed in the media. Right. And how all these violations were not being reported, how the proper homework was never done on the safety of this, and just all kinds of stuff. And, you know, even in like a lot of the areas, I mean, they were able to pass a drilling ban in my parents' neighborhood. And it was because they had this progressive mayor who fought tooth and nail for it, and he got it done. And he was actually a friend of mine who, you know, sadly no longer with us. He passed a few years back. But, you know, I mean, it can be done. You can do that locally. And it is so criminally sad when you don't have the establishment behind you, when they're still, and they're Democrats too. Right. I mean, you know, Pennsylvania is not the most progressive state in the world. I mean, there is a heavy Democrat majority there, but it's not seen the same as California. Meanwhile, they were able to get it done locally. And I think it's, I mean, we really need to have a complete ground up overhaul of all this.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your